Welcome to bexbugoutsurvivor. As you can see, I want to put a zip down the middle of one of my bivvy bags. Why? Because I want to use it in a hammock. I've got plenty of bivvy bags. I've got a couple that I'm just going to keep and not alter at all. The smaller one I might put a side zip on. With the larger one I'm going to put a centre zip in, and that will help me get in and out of the hammock a lot easier with a zip in it. I'll give you all the detail on the zip. The times that I have been in my hammock, I've really appreciated a bivvy bag. Come to that even on the deck and even in a tent, and it's about 600 grams for the regular, 800 grams for the extra wide. Now I'm using the extra wide just so I have more space. So I wouldn't mind having a go at running this through the machine. I'm not a person who's very good at using a sewing machine. Hand sewing it, I could do that and I could get it pretty neat, but it'd be quite time consuming. But I do need to practice my machining skills, so a good opportunity to learn. We have a guide here from the original seam that is in the front of the bivvy bag. With this being the extra wide, I'll need to pencil in a line there to follow as well. It's been turned inside out. Right down the centre here is the waterproof tape, and this stuff always comes off when you don't want it to, but I bet you in this case now I do want it to, it won't budge. So now I can cut the toddle here, which will give me a chance to put a little extra length of cord there, because that is pretty tight. Take my square out of the way and start cutting. Clean the cut, I don't really want to bring the tips together like that through a cut. I want to stop before the tips come together, and I'll have a clean cut rather than a jagged cut. So now just the bottom part to do, and I'll be following the seam, because as I suspected, this tape does not want to come off, but is guaranteed to come off when you don't want it to. So I can follow the actual seam line here. Let's turn it inside out for a minute, or right side out, and find out where it is I've got to cut, and just continue all the way down. Check in as I go. I'm still right on the line that needs cutting, which is the existing stitch line on the outside. It's looking pretty good so far. I've left a gap here. I'm going to have to get some older gore-tex and sew a strengthening patch on, a little triangle here at the bottom, but that is going to be the very last job. And I might even machine this outside. It's a nice day. I'm going to fold over a little hem like that, and the size of that hem is going to be about the width of the zip edge here, the grosgrain on the side of the zip, and just offer it as close as I can to the zip, and then that way the edge won't fray. And I'll either put 1 row or 2 rows down there, probably 2. I'm going to try and freehand it without using any pins because I'm not that fast on a sewing machine yet, so I'm only going to be doing it a few inches at a time. Okay, let's turn it right side out. But before I do anything, I don't want this bottom of the zip coming undone when I don't want it to. So what I'm going to do is wrap some stitching round there with needle and thread. Then I can hide this little bit of extra zip under this section I haven't cut, like that. Now this is a self-threading needle and a polyester thread, and I need to wrap the thread from there to there, as close to the actual plastic of the zip I can, in there, now here, nice, close, tight, and loop this round several times. And what I've done is come around the teeth about a dozen times there, moved down a bit lower, came round a dozen times here, and I'll also be putting a locking stitch in. And before that loop gets tight, put my needle through it like that. I come in through once, twice, coming through the first and nipping that up by hand. It'll only undo on its own up to there, the first 2 teeth. So happy with that. I've taken off the presser foot it came with, and I got one just to do zips, and also this state-of-the-art piece of crap. So I like to operate the foot pedal in my hand like this and just sit on the ground outside. So keeping the zip up to the edge of this tape, I'll give that a go. So here it is, one side is done, and I'll show you warts and all, because like I said, I'm not terribly proficient with a machine. So I do have the bottom part here to sew in. I might finish that off by hand. I went off a bit there, but all the rest of it, once I put that little bit of sticky tape in, is quite uniform. all the way down, and I will show you all of it. So there's not too many mistakes. I am reasonably happy with it. There's a really dodgy bit where I finished off. Here's where I crossed over and started to roll a hem. So this bit here is now hemmed all the way coming up to the top of the bag where the zip is. And yeah, bit of a mess there, so I've got to sort that out. Snip these off here. Like I said, I'm going to finish it off with a bit of hand stitching, and I'm going to melt the end of this here. I've got a double row done down there. It's not the neatest, it's not parallel, it'll have to do, but all in all I'm pretty happy with it so far. Half-time brew, and then I'll get my lighter, sear the end of the zip. There you have it. Okay, it won't go past that. It's bubbling nicely. And that is seared there. So they're my stoppers. That's worked brilliantly. And as you can see, some of it I haven't got the tension quite right and got loose thread. One of the mistakes I kept making was I was looking at the needle, trying to get a straight line, when I should be looking somewhere down here. So if we come to the foot plate here where the zip is now going on for a second time, I want to try and make sure I have a level line there. And one way I can do that is by putting a bit of sticky tape down there. On the rear of the zip, I changed the tension, and hopefully I haven't got loose threads on the back. That is tight. That is as best as I can do for keeping it in a straight line. You can see a little mistake there. It's not bad for second time round, I guess. I'm really tempted also to draw a pencil line. what I find that really helps is to pull the fabric over the zip like this, and by the time it falls into the needle, it's in place. So this is the second attempt. I've just put a single along this side. I am not ready yet in proficiency to do a double row of stitching. So my second attempt, unpicking it and trying again, was better, not perfect. I hope you'll agree that the second attempt, when put into comparison with the first attempt, is noticeably better.